What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Compound today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's go over it. This should be a pretty short video. We're just going to do some daily updates, right? Not a whole lot of exciting things have happened over the past couple days. We've just moved sideways, really. If we're looking at the RSI and Compound here, you did break out of your wedge of an uptrend that you had in the RSI. You broke out, but still overall you are prevailing with these higher lows. You did get just below the 60, which the 60 and above this area is what they call the bullish area of control. Right, you dipped right out of it and got right back into it. This is very bullish behavior, right? This is very, very good stuff. Love seeing the RSI do this, right? I'm very confident that that's a low. I would call this whole move, not just for Compound, but for any and all cryptos that kind of look like this recently. They have that little hook in them. That's a bear hook, man. That's a bear trap is what that is, right? Well, all we've done is form higher lows in succession in a place that kind of just makes perfect sense. It's beautiful structure. The RSI with this low coming in here, this higher low, it cooled off, right? You've got lower readings in the RSI than you did back here. That's a very bullish thing. Generally means continuation is at hand. So we're at $111 now. What we did was we had an initial breakout move right here. That was our breakout move, and we're just consolidating afterwards, right? We're trying to figure out, are we done moving up? Are we going to correct, or are we going to go higher, right? All these things can be established if we do things the right way, right? So on a closing low and then an overall low, that's the two lines, right? The top line is the closing low on a daily perspective. The bottom line is the overall low on a wicking perspective. We go back in time, and you can see what we did with our closing low was we found support right at our closing high from the last time that we were at this resistance area. It's beautiful. Going back in time there, our tipping low found support on this resistance area here. So we definitely found support in a very key area of resistance, previous area of resistance, confirmed it, or it appears to be that we've confirmed it as support, right? Again, we'll go back in time. We'll just look at it real quick. The last two times you were in this zone coming up from the bottom, this is what you did, right? This time, instead of finding resistance here, what you did was you broke above it and you pulled back into it to find support. This is saying I'm breaking out, last call, all aboard, time to go, right? We're in that time to go moment right now. It just might not feel like it, right? Compound, when I say right now, it doesn't mean that it's going to move up. It's not going to do this day after day after day, right? But I do think day after day, week after week, over the next month and a half, I do believe Compound will grow at a pretty substantial rate. We're at $111 now. And I got a kind of cool thing that I want to say too that I didn't think about, but somebody in the comments brought it up to me, and I don't know if it's true, but I think it's true, and it's kind of exciting. I'll go over it in a second, but especially for American citizens. It wouldn't really apply to non-American citizens, I don't think, but you just, yeah, anyone who's eligible for United States taxes, that's who it would apply to. But we'll talk about that in a second. From a high to low, when you do get the party going, whenever you do get things moving, if we look at previous resistance points, here's a resistance point right here in the price. I don't think that you stopped just below here to consolidate and then move up and stop right here. I don't think you did, so I'm going to take that line off, even though, yes, that does seem to be a somewhat significant place there in the price. We're going to keep looking back and just see that, okay, you found resistance here on a weekly basis at a closing high there. You also found support here, okay, and that's right around your golden ratio. Okay, we could expect to see something like that all the way up at about $234. Sounds about right to me. I don't think that we would get this close to the 618. Right? Resistance point and price, that's where this white line comes from. That's just under the 618. I don't think we get that close to the 618 without touching it. So, and then also you have some highs over here and a little bit of like a closing high over here. So I do think that you get above $234 at a minimum, right? If we keep doing this kind of price action thing, you can see that you found a weekly high on a closing basis here, which also ties in very, very well with these low points here, low points there, kind of an area of resistance there. We bring on the fibs again. That's a little bit above $300 there. It's kind of not an area that makes sense for the fibs. So I would say in this kind of case, I don't think that we would hit this line. I think we'd fall just shy of this line if we were to find resistance here at all. Or more likely, if we were to go to this line, we would actually just continue upwards to the 786 area. All I'm trying to say by doing this is I'm trying to figure out and trying to legitimize the targets that we have, right? And so far, to me, it seems like there are a lot of legitimate reasons to believe that Compound, it's at $111 now. It could stop at $234 to $302. But I am personally under the impression, and that makes the most sense. That's the most probable outcome. But I am under the impression that Compound probably does move on up to prices around like $420 to $608 by the end of January. And personally, I don't think you'll be at 600, but I do like this $420 area probably by the end of January. You're at $111 now. So the exciting thing that I want to say before we end here, somebody brought it to my attention, is that Compound was made in the United States. It's a United States coin. I never thought about this, right? But let's just, is Compound a U.S. crypto? All right, let's just see. Yes, Compound is a cryptocurrency that can be purchased. Yeah, but I was looking at something earlier. I wish I had it. I have it on my phone, but I don't have it up here. I should just I don't want to go through and search for it and bore you guys with trying to find it. But I looked through, and it was on this report for Trump he's talking about wiping taxes, right, for U.S. cryptos. He doesn't want to tax anybody on capital gains if they're investing in United States made cryptocurrencies, right? That's what he said. Whether that happens or not, we don't know, but that'd be cool, right? I don't think that he said that after he became the president-elect for no reason, right? They normally make promises that they can't keep before they're the elect, not after they're the elect, right? But if that were to happen, if United States made cryptos were to be tax exempt, you guys, Compound could be tax exempt in the year of 2025 and going forward. So I don't know, that's just kind of bullish. Check it out yourselves, look it up. I know I'm not making that up. Compound is kind of funny too, because Compound established itself as a decentralized, it's a DeFi protocol, but it is centralized. I'm pretty sure, I think they have a CEO. I need to do some more research on that before I just go saying things, but I'm pretty sure in this sense, we would not want it to be decentralized. We'd want it to be centralized so that we do have an established, it was made in the United States. It's based in the United States, right? Because then for tax reasons, we would not have to pay capital gains on this, which I just think would be phenomenal, right? The power of not paying capital gains, you guys, let's use big round numbers because it's fun, right? If you made $1 million on this, okay, with capital gains, you're paying, and if it's short-term capital gains, you're paying anything from $300,000 to $400,000 in gains, right? And if it's long-term gains, you're paying, I think it's $200,000 in gains, okay? So that's $200,000 to $400,000 that you're going to be paying in taxes if you made $1 million. So really, if you make $1 million, you actually only make $800,000 to $600,000, $600,000 to $800,000, right? Something in that range. So let's say you had I don't know, you made $1 million. Let's say you had 100K and it did a 10x, okay? And you made it, or let's say it did an 11x. That way you're paying taxes on $1 million because you only pay taxes on the gains, okay? So it started with 100K, it went up to $1,100,000. That way you made $1 million. You have to pay taxes on the $1 million in gains that you made. Apply the tax rate, which would be anything from a 20 to a 35% or maybe a 40% tax rate. You're paying $200,000 to $400,000 in taxes. Okay, maybe potentially if you're an American citizen. Okay. So when you make $1 million, you're really only making $600,000 to $800,000. But then without these taxes, you've got the full $1 million. I don't know. I feel like that was probably unnecessary for me to explain. I don't know why I thought I was going to have some kind of grand revealing with this, but to me it is kind of cool. It is something that I think just hearing it out loud and thinking about it out loud too it's pretty cool that you go from making 600 to 800,000 when you make $1 million to actually making $1 million when you make $1 million, right? That's the power of this tax thing being wiped, right? It's a huge difference. It really is a huge difference. And if it doesn't sound like a lot because you're like, oh, what's $200,000 in a million? I don't know. How much do you pay in rent a month? You pay $10K in rent a month? No, probably not even half that, right? But if you paid $10K in rent each month, that's about 2 years of rent. That's how much 200,000 is. That's a long-term capital gains. You got 2 years in rent for free if the taxes are not applied. It's a big deal. It's a real big deal. That's why I tried to make this whole last part of it about how big of a deal it was. I made this video longer than it should have been because of that, but I'm not 100% sure if it'll go through. It's just something to get excited over. It's another reason to buy, hold, and love Compound. Hopefully that whole tax code goes through. Hopefully United States coins are tax exempt. That would be amazing. But if not, whatever. You know, we got to pay taxes. It's not something that we enjoy. It's not something that I want to do, but it's something that we kind of have to do. So I don't want to go to jail either, you know. So anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next one. That's all I got to say. If you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. I already said that. All right, bye-bye.